Welcome to your feature interview here on Emory Henry Reports on EHC-TV. As mentioned before, I'm Daron Vaught. Joining me today is Elizabeth Wassum. Elizabeth, thanks for joining me.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
And Elizabeth, you are the senior representative for the SAC, which not to be confused with the other SAC, the Student Athlete Advisory Council on campus. What is the SAC?
It is the Student Advancement Council, and we're a group of students. There are a few representatives from each class, and so we're representing our class to get the word out there about giving to the annual fund through the class challenge. So we're a group of students that care about giving back to the school.
And is this a recent thing? I know I myself am just really getting wind of the organization.
Well, you're not behind. Don't worry, Darren. Yes, it's recent. It just started up this year through the development office and Ryan Rorda, and we're still recruiting even. So if you're interested, you can let us know. But we're still recruiting and still getting members that are just really excited about this idea of giving to the college.
Okay, and I know you guys have a big plan in place for encouraging students to give back. Why don't you explain that?
We do. Well, we have the class challenge, and the class challenge is a big event. It's going to be the event part is going to be way later in the spring, but every Friday, members of the Student Advancement Council, every other Friday, are going to be at the cafeteria talking to people about this project. And so what we're asking is for underclassmen, freshmen, sophomores, and juniors to give $10 toward the annual fund. And seniors, the donation is $20, but they also get the senior t-shirt, which is important. So we will be asking for those kinds of donations from the underclassmen, and it's giving them an opportunity to give to the annual fund, which of course is this huge deal with the development office that helps after tuition funds run out. So it helps the school. It goes directly to the students that will be giving. And the goal here, the aim, is that the students will give, and the class with the most participation gets to be a part of, gets special admission to this special messy field day games, like crazy games at the end of the year, and their name on a President's Cup, and just the bragging rights to say that they were the class that had the most participation in giving.
So this messy field day of sorts, what types of things is this going to include?
Well, there are definitely, we're still working on the plans, but there's definitely, I've heard something about messy twister, definitely the balloon toss, pie eating, all these different things. There's this cool gummy bear pie contest where you have to find the gummy bears in the whipped cream, that kind of thing. And so we're hoping to host that, maybe even a slip and slide, just putting that out there. But we're hoping to host that in the spring.
So the field day is the award for the class with the most percentage-wise participation. Is that how it works?
Yes, it'll have to be configured like that because we want to make sure it's even. But because we're asking for $10 from underclassmen. However, if people want to give more, they most certainly can. And there's actually even a special offer for seniors who want to give to the $100 Spire Club level, and that's something that seniors are able to do, and they can do a monthly kind of installment that can directly be taken out of your account. But you can do about $11, $12 a month and get to the Spire Club level by the spring. And seniors who are able to do that, they can be a part of the President's Center with the Young Alumni Council, which is also a new group that's been forming. And seniors in the Spire Club can make those networking and connections that are really going to be important once we graduate.
So I know I talked to Ryan Rorda myself, and he mentioned a couple of sub prizes, even for I mentioned. Participation is the big award, but what about like a largest donation or a most total numbers in a class donation? I spoke with him, and he tossed around the possibility of that. Have you guys talked about what a prize would be as far as that's concerned?
As a council, we haven't, so that's news to me, but I think that would make sense, the class that was able to give the most, because maybe a few members were able to give a whole lot or were interested in giving a whole lot back.
So the annual fund, I know you mentioned it's what they go to when tuition money runs out. What are some purpose for this? I mean, I know you're only a council member. You're not really up at the top, but obviously you have some knowledge of it. How is it used in most cases?
It could be used, from my understanding, for the most basic things. It's helping students stay in school. A reason why students have to leave school is if the financial aid, if funding runs out. And so as they're paying their tuition, it helps the college in a general sense pay for things, such as electricity and new dorms and those kinds of things that the college wants to pay for, faculty salaries, those kinds of things. So it helps the annual fund just supplants what we regularly get from tuition.
And how many council members do you guys currently have? I know you said you're still recruiting.
I would say about eight, 9 or so. We have a couple representatives from each class. You do have a few members of your crew here that are involved, and so we have, I know the senior members, we have myself and Lindley Houston, Ross Ellis is a member, Brian Stanley, and a couple others like that.
So what do a council member's responsibilities include on a week-to-week basis or bi-weekly basis? You mentioned every other Friday.
Well, we meet once a month that's the only commitment. So if anyone's interested, just a once a month commitment as far as the meeting of the council. And then every other Friday we sit at lunch and we have forms where people can fill out and make their donation. And so we're asking people to make the donations right there when they can, because pledges are wonderful. However, we want to make sure that we're getting those pledges, and so we're having people make their donations on the spot in the cafeteria, and they can put their donations in honor of someone or in memory of someone. So you could pick a favorite professor or something to make sure your donation goes for them. But we're going to be in the cafeteria. We actually, last week was our first week in the caf on a Friday, and we had messy games going on, a pie eating contest going on in the cafeteria, which was pretty exciting, apple pie, which was messy. But so the Student Advancement Council members will be attending the CAF meetings every other week, and also the Student Advancement Council meetings monthly.
Okay, so Elizabeth, I'm going to grant you this. Your 15 seconds of fame, if you will. Here's your pitch, your one pitch to recruit. And any student that's watching, what do they need to know that's going to benefit them the most about becoming a counselor? The council wants to recruit people who are really excited about Emory Henry, who really love Emory, because this job, you're asking for money, and that's the big question. You're asking for money from college students who are already paying money to go to the school. And I see it as practice. We're getting people in the habit of giving because we want, after they graduate and we're making money, hopefully, we want them to be able to give back as alums. So really it's practice in getting the habit of giving back to a college and a community that's given so much to us. So being a part of the Student Advancement Council is an opportunity to network with your friends. It really comes down to those conversations and talking to them about, this means a lot to you and we want to continue these things for the future. It's kind of, for future students of Emory Henry, we're going to make sure that our gifts are giving back to this place. And if a student wishes to become a counselor, they can contact you, I guess.
Yes. At my email address, you can mwassum08, and also Ryan Rorda in the development office.
Well, great. That sounds great. Thanks a lot, Elizabeth, for joining us today.
Thank you.
And now we're going to send it to Drew Piscopo, and we're going to get his take on the infamous UVA-wise punt return to defeat Emory and Henry just a couple Saturdays ago.